Welcome to Reread, where I'm rereading through the expanded universe in chronological order. Folks, we're going to talk about books 5 and 6 of the Clone Wars Comic Digest series here. The first one's called the Starcruiser Trap. There is a big giant ship called the Starcrusher that is just blowing up everyone. And of course, the Jedi need to go on a mission to stop it. Well, Palpatine has set Darth Sidious, has set a trap for the Jedi. Now, he finds out Anakin's on this mission, so Palpatine gives Anakin his own mission to give these seeds to these plant people, who are joining the Republic. And since they're joining the Republic, they need the best representation. And Anakin, you're the best of us. And Anakin's like, seeds? But there's a giant war machine the Separatists have. Shouldn't we stop that? Seeds first. So of course, as Mace Windu, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka, the Jedi called Jill with a Y, J-Y-L. They all get onto this Starcruiser, the Starcrusher, and the Admiral who runs the Starcrusher goes, I never thought I'd be happy to say these words, abandon ship. And they all leave the ship, and the ship is completely derelict. And they're like, where is everyone? Then they realize it's a fake ship. It's already been navigated to drive straight into a sun and destroy a lot of Jedi with it. It was all a trap. And meanwhile, the real Starcrusher will come up and pick up all the escape pods. So Jill is kind of panicking for a little while, and Mace goes, there's no time to panic. Jedi do not fear death. He went, and don't be so pessimistic. We will get out of here. We will find a way. And she goes, but Master Windu, what will we do? And then there's a big pause. It's showing all four of them. And then the next panel is still all four of them. And Mace Windu goes, I don't know. Okay, I don't really have a plan, but somehow we're going to get out of here. I just know it. Anyway, Anakin, who is with the plant people, decides this is bogus. I need to go help Obi-Wan and the rest of them. So he leaves the meetings 2 days early, to go help the Jedi. Good thing, too, because they need his help, because they can't get off of this ship. And so that's when the real Starcrusher comes, and Anakin's like, what do I do? He said, well, first off, Anakin, go into the Starcrusher and blow it all up. And so as they're opening up their bay doors to accept all the escape pods, in rushes Anakin's Starcruiser and starts just blowing up the whole ship, like from the inside out. Kind of like how he did with the Trade Federation ship in Episode 1. I should also mention there's a dumb storyline here that for some reason at the beginning of the comic book, Ahsoka hates Jill. I don't know. It's like a girl fight. She's all jealous or angry at Jill for nothing. We don't know what. And then when the adventure begins, when they get into the Starcrusher, they suddenly become friends. I thought later on they were going to, mend their differences. Ahsoka was going to realize that, she's just I don't know what their difference was. It's just Ahsoka started a rift between them, which instantly gets patched up the moment they go on this adventure. And then at the end they're like, we're going to go get Calf and do some girl talk. I'm not kidding you. That's what they said. Ahsoka's so stupid. So stupid. Anyway, Obi-Wan has a plan. Meanwhile, while Anakin's blowing up the ship, he went, hey, I know what we can do. As Anakin's causing a ruckus up on the Starcrusher, he magnetizes the hull. He figures out a way to magnetize the hull of their shell, the fake ship, so that it attaches itself to the real Starcrusher. And now they're both being dragged into the planets, into the sun. And Mace Windu's like, Obi-Wan, I don't know where you're going with this. He went, just give it time. Just give it time. Anakin will come through. And then, when they find out that they can't, the bad guys can't get loose of the fake Starcrusher, and they're like, okay, we got a really abandoned ship now, because we're heading straight for the sun, and the escape pods start shooting out and shooting away from the sun, but then they get pulled back down into the sun and all die, and it shows Obi-Wan looking out the window, smiling, goes, They thought they could escape the pull, but they can't. Ha! Wait, so your plan was to kill them all? That was his plan. To trick them into getting to escape pods so they'd all die. And then eventually both Starcrushers would die too. Anakin comes by with his Starcruiser and throws him a line attached to the Starcruiser where they all grab hold. They're all in these space suits too. And he pulls them out of the fake Starcrusher and says, now Anakin, go slowly, because they're shooting through space with all the Jedi holding on to a line on a starship. What? But Obi-Wan's plan everything went according to Obi-Wan's plan to kill all the crew on the Starcrusher. What? The next one is called The Enemy Within. This one focuses on a clone sergeant. He's brand new, joining this team of clones. They all have nicknames, and they introduce themselves at the beginning. They try to give him the name Shiny because he tries to keep his armor all clean. They go, the moment you get into battle, there's going to be big scratches all over that armor, right? And of course, when he goes into they crash land on a jungle planet they're supposed to be battling on, and his mask gets a big scratch on it. And they go, told ya, Shiny. He went, that's not my nickname. And then later on, when they're camping in the jungle, they say, okay, what's your nickname? He went, Banks. Why is your name Banks? Because he can bank a shot. And he ricochets a shot into the tent. I guess the tent was blaster proof. I don't know, but he ricochets a shot around all four walls, the ceiling, and it shoots this little box out of a clone's hands. He went, he said, I was always good at finding, where I could bank shots off of. He said, not really something you'd use in battle, but, that's how I got the name. Okay, well, he's a by the book, fresh off the clone being sergeant. And he's kind of stiff. He doesn't have all the experience like these other clones do. But when he contacts his CO, the CO goes, remember, this is a black ops operation. If you're caught, you must all die. He said, we can't rescue you. We can't even acknowledge this mission went through. Do you understand? He's like, yes, sir. And so now oh no, so that's why they brought him in, because they're afraid the other clones may rebel if it's a suicide mission. And at the same time, you think, wait, wouldn't the clones do anything to sacrifice themselves for the Republic? Well, they explain this because later on, as they fight through a horrible jungle where different beasts of the jungle start killing off all of these clones, there's only like 3 of them left when they finally get to their area. And one clone, who's called Ghost, puts a bomb into the plant. They go, wait a minute. This is the home planet. This is the natives' capital, right? Or whatever. It's like, yeah. Why are we blowing it up? He went, so they'll join the Separatists. Because he's like, wait, why do you want them to join the Separatists? And then he goes, oh yeah, I guess you're not into that. So the clone turns around and kills the other clone. And now there's only Banks and Ghost. And Banks is confused because now Ghost is a traitor. He works for the Separatists. He went, this is our mission, to have this planet join the Separatists. By the way, the planet's people are like these green little wolf-looking people. And it's funny because at one moment they capture all the clones for a second, and they take off all their helmets. And he goes, you humans all look alike. Because they're all clones. I thought that was kind of funny. But at the end, of course, Banks is trying to stop Ghost from blowing up the capital or whatever, some plant there on the planet. And as he's being wrestled to the ground, he can't lift his blaster. Ghost is holding down his hand so he can't fire his blaster. So, of course, Banks angles the blaster. Because I guess, again, we're in an area where all the walls are blaster-proof. And he shoots the blaster bolt that zips, around the walls, the ceilings, the floor, and then right in the back of the head of Ghost. Aha! And killed Ghost. So I guess banking shots do come in handy. And then he puts on Ghost's armor and then has the CO pick him up as Ghost. But the CO knows, you're not Ghost. Ghost would have died with the mission. He goes, yeah. And why did you betray the Republic? Aha! It was the commanding officer. Well, it was the clone too. A clone that saw it was meaningless to join the Republic, to fight for the Republic. He may as well, I don't know, have an easy way out and go with the Separatists and die? I don't know. I mean, I guess a clone can have a flaw, but betraying the Republic? It's a pretty big flaw, right? But anyway, the Admiral was the traitor. He gets caught because the clone, of course, banks another... I think it's a helmet. He bounces around the room and then hits him in the back of the head too, to knock out the traitor, Admiral. And then he's at a court-martial where they can't really punish him because this is a Black Ops operation. That's why it was Black Ops, because the guy was working for the Separatist. And they said, well, you did capture a Separatist spy, so thank you for that. we're just going to erase this, expunge this from your record. We won't even mention this adventure ever happened, and you'll be assigned to Butler Swan's group, Jedi Butler Swan's group. And so he goes to his new group. He's got a scratch on his mask because it's no longer clean anymore. And she goes, Sergeant, you're late. She's like, hey, now get in line. We're ready to go. We got to ship out to whatever planet. He goes, fine with me, General. And by the way, call me Banks. To be fair, it's not that bad. It's not that bad. I always wanted more of this when we talked about the Clone Wars adventures. I want to hear more about the clones. This is an adventure about the clones. And overall, it's a pretty decent one. All right, folks, I'll come back with another one next time.